Good morning, everybody. It's 7 o'clock out here in LA, 10 o'clock back in the East Coast. And we got 2-for-1 baseball last night, and I have no voice left. But holy shit, what a game, right? That was insane. I definitely feel like the Blue Jays needed that game. That was kind of the consensus leaving the ball game last night was you go through all of that and to not win when now today you're staring at an Ohtani Bieber matchup with both teams having not cash, but used their entire bullpen at least last night. Things starting to look really good for LA. Now, the script could get flipped today, but that was literally crazy last night. I thought it was an absolutely incredible baseball game. But I'm not gonna lie, like 14th inning, I was kind of over it. Then I got a little bit of a second wind, I'd say 16th, 17th inning, and obviously Freddie sent us all home finally. But man, yeah, I feel you, Nick. I went to bed not that long ago, you know, not that long ago. Took a long time to get out of that Dodger Stadium parking lot. I'll tell you that last night. But yes, Spectre, I was there for every second of that game. Plus, I was there early, so I was in Dodger Stadium an obnoxiously long time. But I don't know, it was crazy. I mean, 18 innings is the same amount of innings as they beat the Red Sox in that World Series game in, I guess it was 18. Oh, and this is great right here. Daniel did call it. Will Klein might get some high leverage. Well, some high leverage turned into quite a bit of high leverage. As here's our box score. And if you look way down here on the right, Will Klein, 4 innings, 1 hit, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. And honestly, he was amazing in this game last night. So locked in. Considering how long he had to wait to pitch in this game, it was kind of amazing. He had great stuff. You know, not for nothing, between Enriquez and Klein, those are two of the nastier arms, stuff wise, that you're going to find on the Dodgers. And then those are like the 2 least trusted guys they have. But they combined to go 6 scoreless with 7 strikeouts and allowing only 1 hit. And I did think the Blue Jays looked tired. Everybody looked tired the way they were swinging the bats as the game progressed, right? But man, I mean, just take a quick peek at this box score. For the Dodgers, Glasnow, Banda, Robleski, Trinan, Dreyer, Sasaki, Sheehan, Kershaw, which was a nerve-wracking moment. Holy cow. Enriquez and Klein. And then for the Jays, Scherzer, Fluharty, Varland, Dominguez, Bassett, Hoffman, Fisher, then Lauer, who was kind of the Will Klein of the Jays last night. 4 2/3 in relief. I mean, he pitched awesome. And then Little. I felt kind of bad for Little because I thought he threw the ball pretty well overall. Obviously, gets clipped to lose the game, and now he's got like back-to-back bad memories in the postseason this year, and he's feeling like everybody's having fun but him. But either way, it was pretty. I mean, there's a lot of great pitching in this game. Now on the offensive side, obviously the box score to note is the Shohei box score. I don't know if I've ever quite seen anything like this. I don't think anybody has. 4 for 4. 2 doubles, 2 dingers, and 5 walks. 4 of them were intentional, and really the last one was sort of intentional. They were like, let's not pitch to him anymore. Wouldn't you say? And then I saw after the game, I guess, I just saw this when I woke up. I guess Schneider said, don't necessarily expect to see him get pitched to the rest of the series. And then I started telling some of the guys in the suite, CC and who was with me, Prince Fielder, I said, how about a limit on intentional walks? Like, how about you can only intentionally walk a guy 1 time in a game or twice? And it's funny because you never even think about it, but then you see it like that, and you're like, damn, we need more opportunities for him to impact the game and not just get walked. He's breaking the game. CC said maybe 2. I don't know. We were thinking about it, but insane. I mean, they wanted no parts of him, and I did see that his last 7 at-bats, prior to all the intentional walks, it was something like 5 homers and 2 doubles. That's crazy. Ooh, Mookie should try actually hitting the ball. Mookie does go a robust 1 for 8 last night with a lot of weak ass pop outs. One big hit would have sent me home a lot earlier, but I don't know. For me, one of the biggest moments in the game, if I'm a Dodger fan, that I was frustrated was the at bat that Call had, second and third, 2-0 count versus Lauer, ends up popping up on a cutter in. I was with Gary Sheffield. Gary Sheffield was so mad at the swing that Alex Call put on. Oh my God, he was trying to show me mechanically what he did wrong. I'm getting hitting lessons from Gary Sheffield. There's a whole thing. All right, what else we got in here? Wow, this is a great comment right here. I live in Arizona. Someone I know had to leave after the 10th inning. Took a 10 p.m. flight back to Tucson and watched the end of the game at home. It was that kind of day. It really was. It was historic. And here's another question from Spectre. What do you think of Yoshi going to the bullpen ready to go? First of all, it was so cool because they showed him on the big screen. At the moment that he started like tossing down there in the pen, and everybody was like, "Oh!" Like you could feel like the crowd get into the fact that Yoshi might go in the game, and it was his throw day. He could have given you an inning, but I don't know. It was just like, man. What a crazy game. All right. I mean, the crowd did a good job. I mean, the notorious LA crowd, arrive late, leave early. I didn't really feel that to be the case. I had a hard time. Obviously, I went into the stadium early yesterday to do the pod, do the stream. It's not a pod, do the stream. And there was huge lines, like just to get into the gates. So there's huge lines, and then I thought the crowd was big pregame. It was massive the whole game. It definitely thinned out, obviously, into double-digit extra innings. But I thought overall it was a pretty good crowd. It just, man, it's so exhausting when you have 9 opportunities where you need 1 run, and you just keep not getting it, and the game just keeps rolling. Oh, sorry, my love. I'm sorry. You were missed, though. You were missed. We were next to the Blue Jays' wives. And so I got to see all of my wife's friends that were over there. She was definitely missed, but anyway. Okay, so let's take a look at what this all means. We haven't, I have no notes because they don't even do MLB Central till like noon West Coast time, so they're probably cranking out Game 4 stuff. But this is pretty straightforward. You review Game 3 and you figure out kind of who's potentially going to pitch in this Game 4 outside of the starters. And other than that, there's not a whole lot more to break down. We can look a little bit at if Shohei Bieber didn't face the Dodgers during the regular season. Obviously, he came back off injury, and I don't think Shohei pitched against the Jays, but we can check. Yeah, see, I have no problem with this. I benefit from this. All right. So last night, like I mentioned, I think the first question before we even review some of the cool moments in this game, which we're going to do in a second, I just want to take a quick moment to think about who threw too many pitches yesterday for both sides out of the bullpen. All right, so Varland is getting to that point. He threw 20 last night, but he'll be available. Dominguez, 27, that's a bit concerning. Also, Hoffman, 33. I think these guys will definitely be available, but that's a lot of pitches. Fisher has now pitched in all 3 games. I think he's at like almost at like 50 pitches now in the series. So he's thrown a lot. He's 3 out of 4 if he considers only 1 off day. 3 out of the last 4 days he's been on the bump. Lauer's done for today. He pitched too much. Little, they don't really want to pitch anyway. So Bassett, I think, is very likely to get into this game if it's tight. I think you'll see short burst again from Varland. Maybe Dominguez. Fluharty, I think he finally got beat by Ohtani, right? That didn't work out this time. So they're not in great shape. They're really not. They need Bieber to give them innings. Unfortunately, they're in a win or not go home, but this is a huge situation. So I don't know, this is a little bit of a predicament, but not that it's any better on the Dodgers side, except for you have Shohei pitching and you just expect him to do something like put the whole team on his back and like do something he hasn't done before, like throw a complete game or, hit home runs and throw a complete game. I don't know, something weird like that. Dodgers side, who threw too much? Robleski, 28 pitches. Treinen, 15 pitches, only got one out. He'll be fine. Sasaki, 29 pitches. Sheehan, 37 pitches. He actually bounced back really, really well. And then these two guys. I mean, Klein, who was the man of the game for me last night, in a lot of ways, he threw 72 pitches out of the pen. Is Will Klein a starting prospect? Because I'm not 100% sure. And then Enriquez, he threw 30 pitches. So Kershaw, obviously, will be available. Dreyer, Banda, Treinen. It's a stretch for Sheehan. He threw a lot. So you look for Ohtani to get pushed really hard today. Although Ohtani, didn't he hurt his calf a little bit or something last night? All right, so let's dig in a little bit to the early runs in this game. Well, first, let me go look at the breakdowns because we just want to get into a little bit of what we talked about with the starters, right, and see what might have changed. All right, so Scherzer. What was Scherzer's final box? 4 1/3, 5 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, and the 2 home runs. It was the 2 home runs that really undid him. He went 47% fastball, 23% slider, 15 curve. He didn't use as much changeup as I hoped for. Okay, Shohei just had a cramp. Yeah, I mean, I saw him sprint. He did like a really aggressive sprint in the outfield. And he obviously stayed in the game. But for a moment there, we were like, ooh. Did Shohei hurt himself, Anyway, so Max didn't really change his mix-up too much. Now, what he did have was unbelievable velocity, especially early in the game. You can see how it really declined. Here's his velo by inning. First inning, he was 95.8, came out absolutely rip-roaring, and then you see it kind of slowly decline after that, 94.7, 94.6, 94.4, 94. So that's kind of how that degraded over time with all of his pitches. Let me see here. Whiff percentage. He actually got 3 whiffs on 4 swings on cutter, but he just didn't throw a lot of cutters. 33% whiff on slider. I thought his slider locations were mostly better. He did get clipped, obviously, by... all right, let's go to his outing. He did get clipped, obviously, twice. Shohei, I mean, at this point, it's just getting ridiculous. But he also got clipped by Teoscar. Okay, so here's the first batter of the game. It's Ohtani. He got his first of his 9 times on base, whacking a curveball here. So it was the same approach. He tried to literally go same approach as he went the previous game that we studied up on yesterday. It was a lot of fastballs up into lefties and then slow stuff. Did not work against Shohei. But like I mentioned, Max had good stuff early. He ends up stranding him, finishing the inning with this beautiful curveball to Will Smith. Will Smith, I think, punched out 4 or 5 times last night. Went 2 speeds down. This whole at bat, if you look at the sequence here, 4-seam, slider, curveball, 4-seam, 4-seam. These 2 were huge. He reinforced 4-seam, 4-seam. And then that was able for him to go 2 speeds down with the curveball. See the fastball up. And then I believe there's another, I think this pitch is up too. Let's see. Well, he kind of sped him up to the point where it kind of made him get on it. This is actually a good pitch to hit. But he's late, so I think Will tried to speed up even more. And then he slowed him down with that curveball. So Mac's first inning looked pretty good, especially stuff-wise. We saw the metrics. It was, he, in his mind, and I think this is not a bad approach, he wasn't going to go out there and get caught slipping in the first inning. He was going to go out there and pitch as hard as he could for as long as he could. So he did his thing. Oh, my God. Klein hasn't gone over 2 innings all year in AAA or MLB. What a dog. What a beast. I mean, not that they had any option. This had the shades of that Evaldi game, from a couple years ago. But anyway, it's good to know. And Max was surely amped. Surely amped. Yeah, we're not going to watch the entire everything. But I'm going to check in on the starters real quick. And then, we'll look at some of the relievers, I guess. All right. here was the home run, the first run of the game. Teoscar off Max. So let's watch set bat, and then ultimately he does hit a slider. I don't have a great sense of whether he located it or not. It looked to me like it was headed away on the camera I watched last night, but didn't look like it got to the corner. That's a good slider. Got that two-plane break right there, right below the zone. It was middle.
Sure gonna come out of your shoes. I've seen this before.
There's a fastball. Fastball played for a while yesterday too. He definitely got a lot of pop-ups when he located up in the zone. It's nothing that we didn't see. Now this is the pitch I thought we were going to see more of him today. I thought we were going to see more change-ups. This is one of the rare ones he threw, and it's not really great. But in my mind, this was a way to get them off his slider. Anyway, here comes the home run.
Continue, but it's a safer landing. Hernandez drills one left field.
I mean, it's honestly, it's a little more, has a little more left turn on it than some of the ones that I was watching that really backed up. He just doesn't get it to the spot, and he doesn't get it down. Teoscar stands up very tall in his stance. You got to get him to kind of reach downward. See right there, there's no need for him to get out of his posture whatsoever. And it just doesn't quite get to the corner. Like if this is the outside corner, yeah, it's well inside that. So, you know, again, it's just like a little bit of a mistake. And this pitch for Max, it's so feast or famine. It had good whiff rate. You know, people miss it when he locates it. But when he gets it, when he puts it too low, I mean, when he puts it like in the middle and it kind of cement mixes, and especially at Teoscar, I mentioned, he's very vertical. He didn't have to bend at all. This is the type of thing that can happen. So he gets him on the board, 109 at 31. And then the other home run, which was Shohei, which was just ludicrous. His pitch is like way up and in. I mentioned he was throwing Shohei an awful lot up and in. And it's just the amazing ability to adjust eventually. Like, this is incredible. So starts him change up away here. So this time he went the other direction. I mentioned how he's been mostly starting hard in, going soft late. This time he flips the script a little bit, tries to go change up first pitch, and then he goes slider here. I think this is actually a cutter, just a low velo cutter. Gets above the hands. All right, here comes the fastball. See, there's the location they've been trying to go to the whole time. And this one leaks middle, but it's a little bit higher above the zone. I just think Shohei had enough. And considering that he missed two of these, it was a pretty good guess by Shohei that he would probably get a third one. So I think he was just ready. Let's see how he survives this slider. I don't know what happened here. Why'd he get... Because he thought he should have crushed this? He should have crushed this. Holy cow. All right, curveball.
On the task, Hernandez home run. Ohtani on a 1-2 pulls it down the line foul.
So you can tell, like, honestly, Max, I think, reads the at-bat a little wrong here. You can tell that he's still early. The fact that he's so early on this curveball. He's still at least on slider or fastball timing. Anyway, now he tries to rush him up and in off of that, and it's actually a good location. But just an even better swing. Like, literally an incredible swing. Are you shitting me with this swing? He's a cheat code, man. Look at the location. It's off the plate in. He had to pull the hands in crazy. This is like... We've seen this with a few of the best hitters in the game this postseason. Judge had one where he pulled the hands in crazy. There was another one with somebody. Maybe Vlad. Oh, Vlad pulled the hands in for a double the other day, but I just don't know how he got to this. It definitely, his ball definitely sounds like a gunshot, Spectre. There's no doubt about it. It does. It's incredible. Now, this wasn't even his hardest hit ball. He got jammed on this a little bit, believe it or not. This was a good pitch. This is actually a really good pitch. It's just Shohei's seen enough of it. You know, they pitched him this way a lot. And I was asking some of the hitters in the seats or whatever last night, the guys I was with, like, it looks to me, would you say he's bailing? And they said, for Shohei, it's a little different. It's not a bail. They call it more of a clear. So he clears the front side, but he's not really bailing. Like, he's still, energy's still on the ball, but he's cleared enough where he created space for himself, where if he has to square a ball up to left, he still can with accuracy. But also if he has to make room for himself on the inside to rotate through it, he can. So I thought that was interesting. But, I mean, anytime you can get to a ball like this, it's just nutty. Anyway, those are the 2 runs off Max. I do think somebody mentioned earlier that he didn't protest at all. Yeah, right here. He was tired. He did as good as he could. He hung in there a really long time. Now, on the other side, Mr. Glasnow, I have a little bit of a bone to pick with my buddy here because I felt like he came out of his game a little bit with his usage in this one. All right, so box score for Glasnow, 4 2/3, 5 hits, 4 runs, 2 earned, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, 1 homer. But if you go look at the breakdown, a lot of sinker usage in this game. Can't say I was expecting that. 41% sinker, 31% curveball, 15% slider, 13% fastball. I thought the 4-seam fastball would have worked a lot better in this game. I felt like there was no reason to go away from it. I mentioned the conversation I had the other night with a friend about this Jays lineup, and it's sometimes you're going to have to let them hit some fly balls, and you're going to be a little nervous, but they're not going to go out of the ballpark. For some reason, one of the guys is one of the best 4-seamers in the world, decided to try to pitch to contact and more sinkers yesterday. It's just not his style. And I thought that was a little bit peculiar. Only ends up with 22% whiff. That's very low for a Tyler Glasnow game. And, you know, he could have gotten it if he threw anything but his sinker. He was getting 31% whiff on curveball, 33 on slider, and 33 on 4-seam. I just don't understand the approach. Even to left-handers, 43% sinker to left-handers. I just don't know why they did this, you know, and I thought it really hurt him. Like, he needs to put guys away. He needs to get his type of contact. There was a lot of contact in this game that wasn't his type of contact. Sinker, 7 batted balls, and 3 of them were hits. Curveball, 4 batted balls, 1 was a hit. Slider, 2 batted balls, 1 was a hit. 4-seam, he only got 1 ball in contact. Put in play off him on a 4-seam. That was kind of crazy. Velocity, he was coming out pumping cheese yesterday for sure. Averaged 96.7 on his sinker, 96.2 on the 4. I don't know. I just didn't understand the sinker approach. So let's go ahead and watch a little bit of Glass. Started off the game pretty hot. Gets a early 4-seam strikeout here. Like, that's what I thought I'd see a lot of, is just screaming 4-seamers, make them, meet you at the top of the zone, basically, and see if they can. Like, this was Barger. We kind of knew he had a great matchup versus Barger with curveball and fastball combination. And here, like, you see the outs he's getting. We got some 4-seamers. Both up. I just think he could have utilized this a lot more. Ooh, was I supposed to be? I think I might have screwed that up. But I should be on MLB Now today at 1:30. Assuming they let me go on without a suit on. But anyway. He threw so many sinkers. They've been hitting sinkers since Seattle, and Tyler couldn't locate any of them. This is a good point. They've seen so many sinkers, these Jays. I didn't understand. Why go away from your strength in this game? Here's a sinker to Kirk. And a lot of these, guys, like, if your sinker's not a true sinker like his is, I don't get what you're doing. Like, going up in the zone here with a sinker right on right, it just takes away from your carry on the pitch and lets a guy like Kirk get to that. That's a 4-seam, that's a pop-up. Here was another strikeout. This one's a slider. Let's see. But he was surviving it a little bit early, despite the fact that I thought the Jays were kind of on him. That's a really good slider. Look at that pitch. That's what we call a slammer. Man, that's tight. And 7-7 extension. Dirty. All right, let's watch the Jays. All right, here's Kirk's home run. It's on a first pitch curveball. Now, I mentioned yesterday a little bit about how Yamamoto got a lot of outs with early curveballs for contact. So I thought Glasnow might try to copy that a little bit, but he throws this ball right down the middle, and Kirk is perfectly on time. I think if this ball gets away from him, it's probably not a home run, but you see it kind of stays right in his happy zone. Kirk goes and steps that foot a little bit in the bucket. But man, he walloped this pitch. And Yoshi was doing a much better job of getting those curveballs to the outside corner. Anyway, 3-2 Jays right there with that swing. There was this error earlier in the inning. Somebody's mentioning the body language on Glasnow. Let's take a look.
To make with 3 games in a row being played here.
Yeah, I mean, that ball squirted weird on him. That should have been an out for sure. Then you're in a different sitch. Tommy's such a good defender too, but man, just got a little in between. All right, let's watch if we can see Glasnow's reaction at all. Not that it matters. This is a very emotional baseball game. Oh yeah, he started to put it down. Put the old head down a little bit. Okay. So that was the 3-run homer, and then, like, you know, he started getting hit a little bit more. Barger. Didn't understand the sinker slider approach to the lefties either. You got a 4-seam curveball from hell that nobody wants to hit, and you're out here trying to, like, pinpoint pitches to contact hitters. I really like a north-south approach a little more against the Blue Jays than necessarily sinker slider all the time. They're just good contact guys. They're used to getting pitched with sinkers and sliders as well. Here was a Clement hit on a sinker. They were also content to pitch the ball where it was thrown, and they were definitely looking to go opposite field a lot. This guy just can't get out. Clement's bat path is such that he's going to hit a line drive or like a little blooper in an optimal area a lot. This is like, in theory, it's a good pitch. It goes to chew him up. But here's the issue with pitching to contact when you don't really know how to do it. You run into a lot of this. Up and in contact to a weak hitter, he's not strong enough to hit this ball out to the right fielder. So he's just going to dink it in the field. If this is a big, giant guy, I don't mind this pitch because they're strong enough and they usually pop it up and it's caught. But, like, he's not strong enough. So for him, you got to be a little lower and get him to hit that ball on the ground. But anywho, still a good pitch. It just doesn't work. Clement just, like, man, he's so direct to the ball. Then he walked Lucas. He was kind of running out of options. Sinker, curveball, curveball, 4-seam, sinker, 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 sinker. I mean, what the hell is this? 4 sinkers in a row to Lucas? Left on left here? I mean, right on left here? I feel like he was on tilt a little bit. Also, you could see right away Dave Roberts did really not want to go to his bullpen. I mean, I was telling somebody that I was watching the game with, typically you give up 4 runs, you're in the 4th inning. I mean, you're not going out for the 5th inning. You know, but you could see they're just like, we have to get as many innings and pitches out of our starters as we can. Now, it turned out the bullpen ends up being the heroes of this game in a lot of ways for the Dodgers, but I mean, just trying to be somebody else last night. I'm a little confused by that overall from Glasnow. So there was also this play which was insane. Where was it? Where Bichette was on first base and gets picked off. It was pretty early, right? Oh no, Bichette gets on. It was during this VAR show at bat, I believe. Yeah, this was just nuts. What a dumb play. The umpire hesitated so much. Of course, we don't have a great view of it, but nobody knows what's going on. Everybody thinks that he walked. It was such a slow-mo call. And Bichette, maybe be able to see it on the high home, he turns his back, which is the mistake he makes. Now you can't really tell here, but when he goes to take off his his pad, he thinks he sees Varsho about to toss the bat away and that it's a walk. He spun around with his back, so his face is pointing this way, so he couldn't see what happened. And then all of a sudden there was like this moment where he goes to run to second and everybody realizes that he doesn't know what's going on, and Will Smith is on it. He's pointing. Will Smith is pointing like, hey, look, and then Glasnow makes this throw in the games and they get a free out. And I thought it was terrible. I mean, your job is to make the calls. There can't be this much confusion. Just be convicted in whatever. Yeah, umpire waited until the ball was back to Glasnow to make a definitive call. The thing that obviously Bo will probably learn from is like never make an assumption and turn your head, because that's what he ultimately did. He turned his head a little bit, and he got caught slipping there. But dude, terrible, and it really cost the Jays. They had a little bit of a rally going there. That was a leadoff hit, and then it would have been a leadoff hit to a walk, and then it would have been another hit. They end up not scoring in this inning after he strikes out Barger and then gets this Clement line out. So this was a big deal.
This guy can hit it from his nose to his toes, too, and Clement.
So he yelled ball pretty quickly on the broadcast, Lifted is saying. It's just that nobody can hear that. I can't hear what the umpire says from the mound, really. So there's no way somebody on first base is going to know. You have to be a little bit more demonstrative. Well, there's that early contact curveball I was talking about. Actually, a good swing by Ernie. It just doesn't get a hit this time, but obviously he gets burned with this approach later. So maybe he's just overwatching the Yamamoto start. You always got to go out there and be yourself. His game plan should not have been to copy Yamamoto. Maybe a little bit I didn't mind the curveball attempts, honestly, because I did think that was a way for him to maybe control contact. What I didn't like was all the sinkers. The sinkers were rough for me. All right, let me see something here. Okay, the Blue Jays 4-run inning in the fourth, which we just watched, started with that error. Fifth inning we saw. All right, now we're at the seventh inning. So it's Fluharty. Okay, let's just watch a little bit of Shohei for a second, because this is a joke. This is like, I'm gonna actually take a screenshot of this because this is pretty ridiculous. Ground rule double, homer, walk, 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 walk. Walk, 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 walk. All right, so we watched all of these first two at-bats for Scherzer. Here's the one versus Fluharty. So Fluharty had been the Ohtani whisperer. This was, I guess, his fourth or fifth time matching up with him going back to the regular season. This time, no bueno. Sweepers and cutters and stuff like that.
He struck him out in game one. Struck him out here in August as well. Ball.
Good take. It's amazing how locked in one baseball player could be. So 3 sweepers.
Over the pavilion. 2-1.
What's crazy is if he's up in this spot today, they're just going to walk him. They'll send the guy to scoring position. It's nuts. It's really nutty. Man, every pitch sweeper in this at-bat? You can't throw 6 sweepers in a row, man, unless you're like really dotting them. And then, of course, this one's more hittable. He's the only guy, too, that's going to clear it out, stay on it, and go 99 in the oppo gap on this pitch for an RBI. Look where this pitch is. It's backed up and in, but he doesn't pull it. He knows that the enemy of success in this situation is trying to pull everything, because eventually he's going to locate a sweeper away and he's going to end up reaching, and if he's trying to pull it, he's going to do nothing with it and roll it over on the ground. This one's up in, and because he's committed to staying in on it, he's able to like literally let this ball travel and stay through it the other way. Just unbelievable hitter. And I think he gets really, like, not great contact, but he's so strong. I mean, he still hits at 99, basically, without good contact, so. Just special. You know, he always seems to know where the gap is. And look at this gap here. It's just so big. Kike going. Now, another story in this game, and I'd be curious what the people thought, was there's a lot of substitutions in this game that felt like it didn't need to happen, especially on the Blue Jays side. Kirk got pinch run for by Heineman after a leadoff hit way late in the game. So he was long gone, and they were like struggling for hitting at a certain point. Kike got taken out at one point. I don't know. It was a lot, like they just churned through these rosters super, super fast. Barger, they did a Barger sub for defense. But Barger showed his defense with his absolute bazooka that he hosed somebody at the plate earlier in the game. And I know Straw is known for his speed and stuff, but Straw had some of the worst at bats. Some of the he's not a good matchup. So I just didn't understand some of Schneider's moves. He kind of dumped the entire roster early. This is the only excuse for Kirk. Was he exhausted? And obviously there's more games to play. I mean, maybe. But, you know, get him a Gatorade, you know. All right, here's Shohei's, the last pitch that they let him see. First pitch home run off Sir Anthony Dominguez. Let's see the location on this. This tied the game again, by the way. No, it's just middle. You know, they had a whole meeting on the mound before this. This was so funny. The boys in the suite, especially CeCe, was literally like, and Jimmy Rollins, like, walk him. I don't care. There's nobody on base. Walk him. And they're looking at me, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, you got to make him earn it here. You don't just put him on, you know. And then they have a whole meeting, and they're like, all right, what do you think they're telling him? I'm like, probably to be careful. You know, it's okay to walk him, make your pitches. And then he goes out there, and he throws the ball right down the middle, dude. I mean, come on. 107.8. You just can't throw anything to this guy. So locked into the opposite field now. Magic's liking it. He's literally unbelievable, bro. I mean, it's just like, it's automatic. It's auto-freaking-matic. So that was it. That was the last time they let Shohei hit. Anyway, that was all Shohei's at bats, which I thought were interesting. Okay, what else do we want to look at here? Trying to think about some of these relievers that had really big outings. Oh, yeah, Springer. Springer's took one swing and grabbed his oblique. Let's check that out. This is you forget a lot of stuff happened in this game. Where a lot of stuff happened in this game that have consequences the next day. Was it this pitch? Let's see. He swings and immediately grabs.
And now Schneider can stay a little bit long. For the Jays here in the 4. 1 ball, 1 strike on Springer. Waves over a curve, strike 2.
Oh, they're saying it was the 8th or something? Yeah, who pinch hit for him? It was mid at bat. It was like right at the beginning of the at bat. I'm gonna go look in a second. Just want to see he strikes out here. No, you can't really tell anything. Okay, who came in for Springer? Was it France? Yeah, I think it was Ty France. Man, also all the plays at third. Oh, yep, there it is. You see it right there, and he's right out of the game. Huge hack, immediate grab of the oblique. I know I've been name dropping a lot today. I'm sorry, but I was asking Joe Mauer last night, who was awesome. Talked to him for a while. You know, if he ever had an oblique, and he's like, yep, 8 weeks he had to miss with one. He said, as soon as he saw this swing, he said, that's the oblique. That's not good. I said, can you just grit and bear it for a few days? He goes like, maybe, but you're probably not swinging very hard. So that's not a good sign. Anyway, that was the end of George. He literally took himself right out of the game. You see Francis in here now. So that was crazy. Hold on. Just woke up. What time did I get out of Dodger Stadium? You know, time-wise, I don't think it was that bad, right? I think it was like not even midnight. But the game started at 5. It was a 6-hour game. Over 6-hour game. And that parking lot, that Dodger Stadium parking lot, we had no police escort or anything, so we were dominated. Dominated. Can he get a shot? I mean, there's a possibility you could Toradol this thing and try to give it a go, and maybe they will, but obliques are not, it's awful. It affects you so much more than you think. You'll feel so weak. I don't know. This is a big deal that he's hurt now. So, you know, you need him ripping and rip-roaring up there. Big time. All right. No, I want to go look at... There was 2 incredible defensive plays, right? Sheesh, where were they, though? Who can even remember at this point? There were some early ones. How frequently do players use something like Toradol? Frequently in the postseason, not very frequently in the regular season. Mostly veterans in the regular season, occasionally. But, yeah, postseason you see it quite a bit. Also, it's like not the type of thing that you can take all the time, so it's not a big position player thing. Mostly pitchers, starting pitchers, you know, you take it every now and then. All right, so somebody mentioned Kershaw in the chat here. Dude, this guy comes in the game. Everybody's like, holy shit, Kershaw's coming in the game, bases loaded. Right? Like, and this is only what inning is this? Like the 12th inning?
No wiggle room.
Yeah, 12th inning, bases loaded for the left-on-left situation. Vlad's on deck. So this was pretty much the game. You know, there was a lot of moments that were pretty much the game, but Clayton comes in there. I'm wondering, is he just going to throw every pitch slider to this guy? So anyway, I didn't get a great look at it. Let's watch the at-bat. First pitch slider down. I actually think he threw some four-seamers from what it looked like where I was. Let's see. Slider strike. Yeah, that's what I was assuming. He was going to throw pretty much all sliders. Doesn't get that call. Doesn't look like he has a great slider going, to be honest, these first 3.
And so Kershaw battling from behind, home with a 2-1.
Another slider. It's unbelievable. 5 sliders in a row. I mean, this is his best pitch, and this is the matchup that they went for him, that they wanted for him, you know? And they're like, hey, slider's the pitch. I mean, that's ball 4. Gets him to swing, though. This is probably the best one he threw. This one actually held really nicely before diving. All right, another 3-2. Ooh, four-seamer. I kind of like it. Also, 92. That's like the fastest pitch Clayton's thrown in a while.
Kershaw tries one more time.
And then he gets him to swing at that. Unbelievable, trying to do a little too much there. He saw a lot of sliders. He should have known the shape on these pitches. This is such a bailout swing. I mean, it's got good action and everything, but this is a bailout swing. He's seen enough of these to have not swung at that. Now, maybe the fact that he tries one fastball right before this kind of resets it. But, man, big out for Clayton. They probably need him today. But, dude. Also, he was not beating the runner there, so he needed this ball hit. Clayton was not beating the runner here. Yeah, Lucas got him cooked. Good thing Edman comes in and goes with the glove move. So redeems himself from that play earlier, and that was massive. Obviously, that kept the game going. I want to find these 2 plays. Let me click over here for a second and see if I can't pull up the highlights on my research tool. Just give me a sec here. Boom, boom, boom. Just imagine if Lucas takes that pitch. Yeah, Blue Jays would have had the lead. They'd probably win the game. And we'd have even I think it would be almost in a way like more, I mean, who knows what happens tonight? You know, you can never predict it. But I think it would have almost been more fun if Toronto won last night and then you have like all this pressure on Shohei to put the team on his back tonight. I think that would have been interesting for sure. Highlights. Adam, will Ohtani have the legs to pitch tonight? I'm not going to put anything past Shohei Ohtani at all. He'll come out. He'll find a way. He'll be rip-roaring. Come on, internet. All right, we're over here in the highlights section. Where are you trying to go, my love, right now? Oh, seeing if you can make it to the gas station on total reserve. Coast, baby. No acceleration. You got to coast. You got to get there. Turn off the air conditioning. No music. All right. So here were some of the big plays here that I was talking about. This was Barger cutting out down a run at the plate, assuming the internet will play this. So he ends up getting taken out. Come on. Why is this tool so slow? Oh, man. This is so annoying. Play it. Play it. Do it. Well, anyway, this was in the 10th inning, so we can go back over to my thing and we'll look at it here if it wants to be annoying. It was Sheehan on the mound. Well, what happened on this play? This was something else too, I believe. Sheehan's got to stop throwing that changeup. Oh yeah, this was a play at the plate. Here comes the relay. Now, a lot of people were telling me this was a bad send. I know he's out by a ton. I'm curious what you guys think when we look at it from the top. Look, they execute the play, right? But Teoscar is a really rough, to say the least, right fielder. And check out where the runners are at the times where the balls are picked up and stuff, right? Okay, so Teoscar touches it right here. Runner's way over here. So first thing that you're thinking if you're Mr. Fablace over here, third base coach, which is my guy. I love this guy. He's thinking Teoscar has to make the play. I need to see him make a throw here before I decide what to do, but the runner's got to keep coming. All right, here comes the throw. It gets to Edman right here. Edman touches it now. And now here's where the runner is. Come around third. Obviously, at this moment, it looks like a bad send. But at the same time, I think you have to make them make the play. It's also, the way the ball kicks way down here to Teoscar off the wall was kind of lucky for the Dodgers. It kicked right to him. I'm looking way down here. I don't know if you guys can see, but like over here. It kicks off the wall. It trickles over to Teoscar, and he picks it up with the bare hand and gets it in. That was actually big. He did a great job getting it in. That ball could have stayed down and kind of bunched under the wall. It could have kicked a little bit more out into this landing area like a ball earlier did where it kicked off this part of the wall and went this way. I'm trying to remember who was hitting at that point. But, yeah, that scored a run earlier in the game for somebody. Anyway, I don't know. Everybody said it was a bad send because he gets hosed by a lot. But in a way, I felt like it was an opportunity to be aggressive, and they needed to make the guys make the play, and they ended up making the play. So you give them credit for that. So there was that, and then hold on. So there was that, and then this was the Barger. Barger had a good throw to the plate off of a Will Smith hit earlier. And Barger threw the crap out of this ball. I know he's a 99th percentile arm strength, which is what he does in the outfield. Is mainly it's an arm value play. I mean, perfect hop to him. Freddie's trying to get there, and he just throws it straight to the catcher. Really, really good throw. The bounce is perfect. Right in stride. Bink. And then he's able to get a plenty good. Brett, did we make it to the gas station? Hosed. There was a lot of plays on the base paths. That was one right there. What was the other play? There were some other crazy ones. Ooh, this was an interesting moment with Ohtani getting caught stealing. 1.85 pop on Kirk in this moment. So it was Hoffman. They had just walked. Yeah, okay. I remember this situation. This was one of those nobody on intentional walks to Shohei. And then Mookie came up, and they immediately tried to get him into scoring position. And here's the caught stealing. Kirk, unbelievably quick here with everything. Come on, internet. I know people are awake now in this building, but we need it. And I need more coffee. Dang it. Oh, here we go. I mean, you can't do it any better than that. Also, Kiner Falefa holding the tag on the crotch right here was the key, because Shohei beats the throw. But he holds it. You see where that glove is? Just holding it in that crotch. And he stayed on him and got him out. But just check out the transfer by Kirk, man. And the throw. And you know he's going, and it makes sense. Put the pressure on him. That was so good. Shohei thought he was safe for a little bit, but he was not. Let's watch Kirk do it from the side angle. Yeah, here we go. Man, so cool. He kind of did it all. 3-run homer, hosing guys in big spots, and then he ends up getting taken out of the game. So quick, so short. All right, there was more. There was so much more. I'm going to look at one of these base running plays. Oh my God, this play by Tommy Edman with Roki on the mound and Varsho hitting. God, there were so many good plays in this baseball game. This was a truly great game. You know what, though? This might have paid off that Bassett only threw 8 pitches, because then he'll be available today, and they're going to need him. Hold it on the crotch. That's just Blue Jay baseball. Sure is. All right, come on. Now we're really struggling with our internet now. This is not the best. Oh, here we go. Man, how do you even hit that pitch? Just shows you Varsho's so dialed into the bottom. Anyway, Tommy Edman with a stand-up slide, throw all the way to third to get IKF. Everybody told me that this was actually bad base running. He had no idea where the ball was. It's a line drive shot, hits off of Freddie's glove, and then Edman, I mean, this is kind of crazy. He sees the ball, so IKF's eyes are looking at the ball here, and he's thinking this ball's going to trickle over into here, and he's easily at third. It kind of checks up, and then look at Edman tackle this thing and get into throwing position. And then where is the runner at this moment? Dun, 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 dun. Here we go. So IKF never hesitates. He's going the whole way, but Tommy's able to get rid of the ball at this point. So it was all about how quick he got there and set his feet, and there was a perfect one-hopper from very far. And that was huge because that would have been first and third, one out. That was a hell of a play, man. I mean, you just tip your cap to a great play. He made a bad error earlier with Glasnow on the mound, and then he made some huge plays later. The glove flip. I mean, this play right here is crazy. The stand-up slide throw all the way to third. There was another one in here, too. Yeah, Guerrero nabs Teoscar with the heads-up play in the 6th inning. So, Kike up in the 6th inning versus Varland. Let's see here. Varland's going to pitch 300 games this year. Yeah, here it is. Another great play here. Vlad showing off the arm. Jimenez goes for the jump throw. Vlad comes off the bag to come get it and then hoses it on, like, unbelievable. All right, so here's thing number one. A lot of times as a first baseman will get crazy trying to stay on the bag. Vlad gives up on that right away. He sees that this play is not, you're not going to get this guy out at first. I'm going to come off and get the ball. Now, what's interesting here is he's very aggressive where he almost gets himself into an in-between hop. Imagine if he misses this ball because of how aggressive he is, and then they come around and score on it because there's probably nobody backing up. But the way he catches it perfectly into stride, actually slips, see him falling down, but makes the mistake of bouncing it. Always make the mistake of throwing it too low than too high. And a great tag by Ernie. I mean, the throw kind of tags him because it's put right on the money here. Ooh, slight slowdown by Teoscar. Definitely cost them there. But again, just a good job by Vlad. He abandons the bag early. He sees it coming. It's all in front of him, so he can see that Teoscar's now in dead man's land here if he can make the play. Yeah, there was nobody backing up. If this ball gets behind here, maybe he doesn't score because he can turn around and go get it. But he also, I don't know. This would have been a weird play had he missed it. Anyway, he doesn't miss it. Throws the crap out of this throw to third. Man, good job by Jimenez heading over here to back up in case this throw got by, because you can't let this throw get by either. Anyway, just so many tight plays, man. So many tight plays. That's actually a good question in the chat here. Do you add another pitcher to the roster now that Springer's going to be out? I don't know. Can you? Do you have to replace position for position? I don't know. It's a good question. Enough analysis. What was my favorite part of the night? Just hanging out, watching the game, and thought it was a great game. You know, trying to figure out what was going to happen the whole way, and watching guys do their thing. But I don't know. It was just great baseball. It's also nice to not have to be out there at times and be so stressed. I mentioned some of the Jays' wives. Like, I talked to all of those girls, but after their husbands had pitched. It's quite hard to watch your husband pitch in those moments, especially like where one run beats you. Like, Hoffman pitched the 2 innings where one run would have beat him. Bassett had been in there. Max started the game. There was a lot of tense baseball watching going on as it kept going. It's hard for that visiting team. It's a little bit different in extra innings without the ghost runner, right? Without the phantom runner. I don't know. Just felt different. A lot of guys standing around trying to hit home runs, but a lot of I don't know. It was very close. It was very close. Yeah, so they think it can only be a pitcher if they switch him off on the roster. And Springer, nothing has been announced as far as I know. Haven't gotten any notes or anything today, which is a little bit annoying. But I get it. There's no baseball for a while today, so they're going to take their time to figure out their Game 4 notes. Okay. Wow. 86th appearance for Varland, regular plus postseason, most since 88 for Juris Familia in 2015. Yeah, it's a lot. Little's up there too. Little's over 80, I think. So, that's pretty impressive. Oh, here's the official ruling. A pitcher may be replaced only by another pitcher and a position player only by another position player. So I guess we're looking at Loper Fido or something like that. That would be my guess. Adam, the notes guys of the East Coast need to be allowed to sleep. You're right. You're right. You're right. I mean, look, there's still more stuff to look at this game. We haven't even talked about Will Klein yet. Or Lauer. Lauer goes 68 pitches in this game. 2 strikeouts, including some balls that were awfully close that did not go out. Man, let's break down this at bat, though. This was an early way that the game could have ended. It's funny that I call it early. Hold on. It's funny that I call it early because this was in the... what inning is this? 13th inning. But 13th inning, 2-0 count, man on third. They just got him to third with the 1 out. You need to be able to put a ball, into play here, get the job done. Call gets a little cutter in, but not in enough, and down. And Gary Sheffield was telling me that his swing goes out and around this ball, which you can kind of see. He tries to kind of come around it. He says if you drop the knob straight to the barrel, straight to the ball here, that this ball's an automatic homer. Now, I said it might have been for you because you're freaking Gary Sheffield, but he jams himself here. He says, he jams himself because he comes around this pitch and it allows the ball to get in on him. But this was a huge moment. Honestly, Jed Lowry, a bunch of people were saying, you got to pull this ball in the dugout. Like, you got to, be so ready to hit. You can never get beat with something there on 2-0. Like, you have to make the mistake of pulling the ball in the dugout, But they don't, and that kind of let him off the hook, and then he kept pitching. They walked Shohei, they walked Mookie, double intentional walk, and then Freddie flies out to the freaking warning track. So this was a tiptoe inning. I don't love loading the bases with the 2 walks, then you have less margin for error. And Freddie almost clipped him, but just barely didn't. There was a lot of people standing up thinking these games were over when these balls left the bat. 103.9 at 35. There's a Teoscar one in here. Pretty late in the game. Yeah, this one. This had everybody in the stadium on their feet off the bat. He pimped it. He thought he got it. 101.4. Dies on the warning track. There was a lot of this going on last night. There was also another really good play by Varsho in the gap. Who the heck? It had to have been Lauer or Little? Probably still Lauer. Lauer pitched a ton. That was the Freeman 14th, no. 15th, is it this one? Yeah, this one. This is another nice play by Varsho.
In the big games, in the big spots, you can always trust him.
Freddie had, honestly, 3 great swings in a row, left on left in extra innings. And look at Dalton Varsho run this down. This is a run. This is game over if this ball's not caught. He's so good out there.
Sends his ball towards left center field. Varsho on the run. He's still going. He gets there and saves the day. On to the 6th.
Yeah, so, I don't know. Maybe they should have been a little more aware of how good Freddie was all of a sudden swinging it, and now we should maybe watch for that moving forward. 3 really good swings in a row. 1 home run, 1 fly out to the track, and then this one's a fly out to the track, but look how he stays on this ball. Spanks it the other way, 104.4. Yeah. There wasn't much wind. It just didn't have that the ball just didn't have that carry last night. Have you ever been the last man in the pen? What does that feel like? Yeah, we were talking about this a little bit last night, especially like this level of last man in the pen. The truth is, when you're a guy like in Will Klein's role, you've probably been down there since the first inning because, you could pitch if shit goes crazy early. You're kind of in a no-roll role. So you've been down there the whole time. He probably drank 3,000 waters, probably snacked a whole bunch of times, might have ran back to the clubhouse a few times to get a banana or, peanut butter and jelly or something, yogurt, because besides the fact that you're just waiting for your name to get called, you're also like time's ticking by. This is a 6-hour game, so maybe you're getting a little hungry. There's just a lot of things you can do. or that you're going to need to do to kind of, keep yourself ready. But the truth is, once that bullpen coach says Klein and he points at you, the adrenaline kicks in and it's all you kind of go numb. And there was a question earlier, if I was Klein, how far could I have gone? I think really you just go as far as you need to go in this spot. He ends up going 72 pitches. All right, so before I watch Mr. Will Klein, who, one of the many MVPs of this game, let's look at his breakdown real quick. He ends up going 4 innings, 1 hit, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Last man in the Dodger bullpen, and boy did he come through. 54% fastball, 24% curve, 19% sweeper, 3% cutter. So it's a 4-seam and a triple breaking ball attack, basically. Averaged 97.8 on the fastball, which is actually right on target. So it's power stuff with two breaking balls, and there's a cutter in there. He had to face a ton of lefties, but did a great job. In terms of whiffs, the fastball was 23% whiff. Curveball, 25% whiff. The velocity definitely trended down as it went, but it still was in a good place. I mean, he was 98.5 in the 15th. By the time the 18th came, he was 97.2. So you can see he was giving it everything he had. Every inning he was out there. But this was the real key right here. First pitch strikes. Now, I love that they've added this to the chart now. Thank you, Baseball Savant. Overall, 11 of 15. I mean, 11 of 15, 73% first pitch strike. That set him up for really good success in this game. It's a small thing, but it's majorly important. All right, let's watch a little bit of Will. Here's Schneider. He's going to punch him with a 99-mile-an-hour cheeser. Yeah, you know what's up. I mean, honestly, like, some of us relievers, we want a chance to let it rip out there for an extended period. You just never get it. Anyway, you see how that fastball plays. I'm just cherry picking one just to see, but 17.1 above average vert on it. Below average amount of runs, so it has a little bit of a perceived cut to it, just a touch. It's also 99. One thing about Will Klein's delivery that's interesting is he goes full pause at the top of the leg lift. Pause, and then snaps it through. But whatever it is with his ridiculous beard, he was nasty last night. So here's another strikeout, Kiner Falefa. And he had some of the biggest, like, he screamed after almost every inning. And just kept going back out there. There's a dotted fastball away. There's a lot of let's goes. Come on, stuff like that. And then also he was a little bit fortunate with the lineup that the Jays were throwing out there towards the end. I mean, in this inning, he faces Heineman and Straw back-to-back. That's kind of a gift. Here's Miles Straw, 3-pitch strikeout. It would have been really nice to have Barger in this Wago as it kept going. I mean, Miles Straw pitches right down the middle. Total defensive hack. Yeah, Joe Idaho is correct. By the 9th, the Jays had their worst possible batting lineup all the way till the end of the game. Yeah. All right, so that was a strikeout there. Here's Jimenez is going to punch out. Still throwing 99 here in the 17th inning.
And if he happens to throw you Uncle Charlie, oh well.
Doors. Really good pitch. Jimenez actually punched out 3 times. The Blue Jays got tired and they started striking out more too. You know, eventually the exhaustion comes for you. What happened here? I don't remember this. Oh yeah, they just got the one out here. That was pretty close. Then they walk Varsho, and then here's Heineman, the last batter he faces. Let's watch this whole at bat because he's on fumes here. 96.7. You know, I'd love to throw 96, but for him that's awfully slow. Middle, challenge ball. Definitely fortunate that he gets to face Heineman in this spot. You know, if you could pick a Blue Jay on the team, he'd be up there. Him or Straw. Kirk would have looked really good in the box right here. I mean, granted, then you're making him catch 18 innings, but Will Smith did it, right? Oh my God. Spiked heater. He was definitely on fumes, but he dug deep. He knew he needed to get one more out here. And then it looked like it was going to be Yamamoto if the game kept going. Yeah, all of a sudden the command's way off. But he's able to summon it here. Oof, gets that inside call. A lot of screaming about this pitch in real time too, but I do think it clips it. Really good job by Smith kind of selling that. And then he's going to get the punch out on this curveball.
For a guy who had never thrown more than 30.
Man, huge curveball. I mean, and Will Klein, man, what can you say? Mentioned that he hadn't thrown more than 2 innings all year. Comes here in Game 3 of the World Series and rips off 4 innings of shutout ball to go ahead and get the W. Enriquez also was pretty damn good in this game as well. This is another guy that actually somebody said to me, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Why does this guy never pitch? I'm like, dude, he throws so hard. This is like 102 right here to Kiner Falefa. So the Dodgers got to the end of their bullpen and they had 2 absolute flamethrowers left just sitting around. Here's his other punch out, Jimenez. Yeah, Jimenez. Enriquez gets Jimenez here. That is filthy, filthy, filthy. Now this is a true slammer. 83-8, -14. So this is a curveball. This is a power hammer curveball. But look at this. That is a true plus hammer. And he's got a weird purple glove. So, like I mentioned, 6 innings with 1 hit between him and Klein were massive. And then people were wondering if it was position players, like if position players had to come in this game, who would pitch for each side? I mean, I guess for the Dodgers, it's probably Kike. He's got the most experience, although it's mostly been, joking around out there, tossing balls in. But yeah, it would have been a mess. It looked like Bieber was getting ready, Yamamoto was getting ready. I don't know. The game would have devolved even more if we got to like inning number 20. Would have been interesting. All right, we got a comment here. I was livid that Schneider left Lauer and Bassett in the pen while giving up the Jays leads and then uses them in the tie game. Yep. Got to fire the guys that you believe in the most. I don't think Lauer's one of those guys, Joe, to be honest with you. I don't think he was really trusting Lauer. Now that they're using Bassett in a short stint role, they needed Lauer to be the long guy, and that's what ended up playing out yesterday. But I'll be curious to see how they handle it now. I mean, the Fluharty-Ohtani matchup, they probably are done feeling good about that one. Little, I don't know where he's in the trust tree. Fisher's pitched in all 3 games. They don't really have any lefty option now. So when they get through, and they have to get out Freddie and Shohei and Muncy going forward, it's not going to look very pretty, I don't think. When they took out Kirk and put Heineman on second, Straw not being able to get the bunt down factored in huge as well. Okay, so Kirk got a hit and they took him out of the game. Right? That was... Kirk walked in the 12th versus Sheehan. Yeah, and then here is the Miles Straw bunt at bat that we were just talking about. I mean, that's a good pitch to bunt. Doesn't bunt it. Unfortunately, Miles Straw had a tough day. He didn't come in and like really affect the game in a positive way for whatever reason. I mean, kind of jabby with this bunt. One of the first things they teach you as a bunter is you don't want to stab at it with your hands. You want to bend your knees to go meet the ball down and still have soft little pillow hands. I know this because with the Cardinals coming up, we practiced a lot of bunting under Tony La Russa. So I might not be able to hit, but I got some good bunting ability because I practiced it so much. And you're supposed to give with your body, not so much try to stab with your hands. Ultimately, that's what undoes Straw here, which is weird to see because you'd think he's done a lot of bunting in his career. Anyway, another 2-strike bunt attempt here, and he ends up hitting it right to Freddie, and they almost get a double play. Very pushy, very stabby with the hands. So as much good baseball as there was in this game, there was also some bad baseball. That's the nature of it. And some of these small plays really affected things. When one run was all you needed, there were some small things that really had a big downstream effect. All right, I just remembered that we didn't actually watch the game end. So it was Brendan Little who got in this game. He actually pitched a pretty good 17th inning with a really good breaking ball going. I actually thought he looked great. I was really happy for him the way he came out and threw. I mean, look at that. That was nasty. That was a banger and a half. And then he even got out of a little bit of a jam with Mookie here to end the 17th. Mookie Betts pops it up. So, good job by Little in the 17th, but then he comes out in the 18th. And I mentioned Freddie had some good swings leading up to this. So let's watch this whole at bat. This is the walk-off home run. This ends the game.
Give him what he needs. Freeman pulls one down.
Sinker in.
Foul.
Lawrence Butler was there. He was another one who was working for MLB. I talked to him a lot about the left-on-left sinker approach that his squad saw a lot at the end of the year. We talked about them facing Crochet, Scooble, etc. So it was cool to get a hitter's perspective on that. But yeah, so anyway, it makes sense to talk about just because he threw a sinker into Freddie to lead off this at bat. All right, sinker cutter, ball, 3-1 count. You just can't pitch from behind. The 3-1 count necessitates you throw the ball over the plate. Freddie gets a chance to measure up that sinker. He sees one, and then the second one's down the middle. And then kaboom, he finally gets him now. He hits it just hard enough. 107.4 at 34. With the way the ball was flying, he needed every bit of that. But that's the ball game. It's his second walk-off home run in the World Series in back-to-back years. He hits the grand slam off Nestor last year, and then he hits the one this year. Last night to get the Dodgers up 2-1 in this series. And Freddie, he hasn't been super duper hot Freddie, I would say, in the postseason to date. But last night I loved the swings, the last 3 swings. Stayed in the big part of the field, drove the ball well. And now, we have a 2-1 lead for the Dodgers. So that's kind of it from the game, I think, from yesterday's game. When we're thinking about today's game, it's really all about, is Springer hurt? How far can Shohei go? What's Bieber going to give you? These are all the main questions. Let me get in the chat here for a second and then do a little investigating on something. Do batters ever try to clip the catcher's glove to free base? This is so fucked up. You cannot do this. I'm sure people do it. They used to accuse Jacoby Ellsbury of doing this. Oh, this would piss me off so mad. If I felt like a batter intentionally hit my catcher's glove, man, angry Adam might come out. And it's pretty rare, but it might come out. Jays didn't have any guys available to the pitch if they needed position players. That's true. They were out, so they had to keep going with the pitcher. Dude, they had nothing left. Bieber was going to have to pitch, and then they'd pick up the pieces tomorrow. That's kind of the way they were. Yeah, this whole concept of walking Shohei, it's just like your whole baseball life, you think to yourself, there's no way that you're going to walk a guy with nobody on base. The odds of hitting a home run are pretty low. They're pretty slim. Yet, he makes it look like the obvious call as soon as you don't do it, and then he whacks a home run, like that home run off Dominguez after the meeting. After that, they were like, forget it. You're just walking the rest of the game, and we're putting all the pressure on Mookie. So that's what they did. How does the tiredness of playing this many innings feel like today, especially with another game so quickly? Yeah, this was a fever dream. It's funny, the hotel that I'm staying at, we actually saw Sasaki driving into the parking garage pretty late last night. So, it's hard to come down after a game like this. You need to get your sleep. There's probably a very delayed BP. Now, they are lucky, not lucky that the game's at 5. Shoot, I was thinking 8. The game's at 5, so probably you show up to the ballpark a little later today. I know it's the World Series. That's crazy to say. They'll be fine, but they did not need an extra layer of exhaustion layered onto this. How does it feel? Not great. Yeah, guys who know they aren't the best offensively should have their bunts on point. Agreed. It's it's no excuse to not be ready to bunt in that spot. What's one of the most famous bunts I remember in the World Series ever? Back in the day, Cardinals, Rangers. Tony La Russa sent Kyle Loesch up to bunt like in extra innings, who was a pitcher and not pitched that day. He went up there in the biggest spot in the year, cold off the bench, doing who knows what on the bench throughout the game, comes up there, has to lay down a bunt off, I think it was like Alexi Ogando or Neftali Feliz, and gets it down. So sometimes these moments come and you got to be prepared for them. Miles Straw did not get the job done there. Let's see here. Yeah, Shohei's going complete game shutout tonight. It only makes sense. This is where my head's at. Shohei is gonna, if he comes out guns blazing and can put the whole team on his back, they can basically win the World Series tonight. Not in terms of officially, but if they get to 3-1 lead, now the Jays are gonna have to beat them 3 in a row. That's gonna be tough. But this is such a big start and such a big game for Shohei. From the Jays side, you'd like to see Vladdy kind of be the one to kind of take over a little bit offensively. We'll see what their approach looks like against Shohei. We watched, Shohei, last time Shohei pitched, he had the legendary game, the 6 innings, 10 strikeouts, and the 3 homers. Probably not going to top that, but maybe on the pitching side he can, if he can go a little deeper. Could the Jays have double swap Schneider in from DH if needed for injury? I don't think so, no. No. Yeah, and this would have been the question. I wonder what would have happened if Bieber came in. Who would have started today? I think Bassett might have been the starter today with only 8 innings pitched, 8 pitches yesterday. That was my guess. What do you even do in the clubhouse as a debrief after 18 innings? I mean, not gonna lie, that game had to be pretty deflating for the Jays last night. But you just try to turn the page real quick. You're just like, don't linger around. Get home, boys. Get to bed. We'll show up tomorrow and we'll win tomorrow. You played a great game. You have nothing to hang your heads about. On the Dodgers side, it felt great. It probably felt like they played 9 innings a little bit after that because, at the end of the day, you win it. That was big. I feel like bunts are practiced in VP, but never the traject. I don't know about off the traject, but people do high speed, off the machine bunting. So guys get much more realistic reps of bunting than you would think, but it's still never going to be the same as the game. The pitcher's not trying to let you bunt it, so that's a little bit of an issue. He's not just piping it down the middle. Doesn't matter how hard it is. I don't know. I'm not saying bunting is easy. It's just something that if it's part of your game, you got to master it. That's all. And this game could have easily went the other way. No doubt about it. No freaking doubt about it. This game could have went the other way very, very quickly. If the Jays can somehow chase Shohei in the third, it would likely flip the series upside down. See, that's the hope for the Jays today, is that if you can turn the tide against Shohei today and really get out front with a big lead on the Dodgers, you put them in a tough spot. They used kind of, Klein, Enriquez, Sheehan. They don't really have anybody to go long in this game. There's no like Landon Knack right on the roster or anything like that. They're out of pitchers, so maybe Clayton would have to go in there and soak it up for a while. I could maybe see that happening. But yeah, it all comes down to the offenses today. Who allows their team to play out front and maybe puts up a crooked number early? Whether it's versus Bieber versus Shohei. Obviously, on paper, Bieber has the worst matchup on paper because these guys have seen him. But he's a Cy Young Award winner, so he's certainly capable of making really good pitches here, keeping them off balance. I think the approach for him is, you're going to try to learn a little bit from what Max did. I would like to see more changeups looped in. If Bieber has that good kick change like he had going his last outing versus Seattle, I think that you'll see more of that tonight because that's a pitch that maybe the Dodgers haven't seen a ton of. What else we got here? How amazing was it to see Kershaw in a game? And we talked about this on the show. Like, will he get any matchup at bats, or will he only pitch if they're up by a lot or down by a lot? He ends up getting a huge at bat in that Lucas at bat and gets the out. So that was pretty fun. Yep. Sometimes you need the other team to cooperate, right, Dan? They definitely got bailed out twice in those spots. 100% true. Game 4 of the 93 series was very different. It was all about offense. Last night had very little offense in the end. Most runs scored with home runs. Yeah, and then Bo was out in that inning that Kirk homered as well. That could have been another run. No, it wasn't. He got a hit though. We looked at that earlier. Yeah, I still definitely question Barger getting taken out of the game. 100%. I did not think that was smart at all. Hold on. Oh, I don't want Safari open on my computer. Still no notes, right? I don't think we're getting them anytime soon. That's fine. There were some examples of exemplary defense as well. I mean, yeah, there was a lot of plays made in the field. Great, the throw by Kirk to get Ohtani stealing. There was a lot of subtle, great plays in this game. Really good defensive plays, good throws. Does making pitchers field balls tire them out sooner? Not necessarily. Maybe if you have to go cover first base a few times in a row, maybe you're a little more winded or something. But usually in that situation, you don't take a ball from the umpire for a little while, catch your breath, and then keep going. Unfortunately for the Jays, Schneider just substituted himself into a hole he couldn't get out of. That was my feeling as well. Obviously, he's trying to make every move he can to win the game in regulation, but it just didn't go that way. Also, yeah, did you see that fruit tray that they had? That was sick. All right, so let's just go ahead and review one more time who the heck pitched last night, where we are in terms of availability for today. Now, everybody's going to be available, but at the same time, there's certain guys that you really don't want to pitch. So, like we mentioned, if you can break Shohei, who do the Dodgers really have to soak up innings? So, typically, they wanted that guy to be this guy, Sheehan, but he threw 37 pitches last night, all high leverage. Available, but not long. If available, but not long. Sasaki, 29 pitches, inning and 2/3. He's a short stint. Trinan, maybe, but he's not going to go too long. So true long guys, it's probably Clayton. He only threw 8 pitches last night, but this is not the guy you want out there right now throwing long. So if Clayton's in the game having to mop it up, that means the Dodgers are going to punt this one, and then you'll go back to Game 5 and try to win that one. But yeah, there's no Klein available. Enriquez is probably a maybe. I mean, he could pitch a little bit, but he threw 30 pitches. So that's an issue. So the guys that didn't throw a lot, Banda, he's a lock to pitch in this game, I would think, unless Shohei goes the whole way. Dreyer is another one who can give them some length. But it's going to be patched together. So that's why I think Dave Roberts is letting Shohei throw 100 pitches pretty much no matter what, unless he's getting crushed, which I doubt he'll get crushed because it's Shohei. And then on the other side, these guys threw a lot of pitches too, man. Fluharty only got 1 out, but threw 14. Varland 20. He'll go again. But you might see some diminished stuff today or some more mistakes today. This is like where the Dodgers offense needs to seize control of this series. They have an opportunity today. They've seen a lot of Bieber, and they've seen every one of these relievers now. Guys are starting to get a little overexposed. Varland's going to be overexposed shortly. Fluharty, the matchups like that they've had him going in, with like versus Shohei, that's totally overexposed now. Bassett could be a big factor today. Now, if Bassett's feeling good coming off his 8-pitch inning, you could easily see Bassett throwing 2 innings today. Hoffman's probably 1 inning. Fisher, like I mentioned, has pitched in every game, so that's not great. And then there's not going to be a Lauer, and I doubt there's going to be a Little. So both starters are going to have to get pushed here a little bit. Obviously, the Blue Jays are in a little bit more of a desperate situation, so they'll go to it if they have to early, but it's not ideal for them that Seranthony threw 27 last night and Hoffman threw 33 and Varland threw 20. Those are probably their top 3 most trusted. And it's just too many pitches, so I don't know. We're in a very awkward spot coming to today. And without Springer, how does the lineup change? Assuming Springer is hurt and can't play, facing Shohei, they probably bring back like a Loperfido or somebody like that. And then they consider putting another lefty in the lineup possibly today. Would that make sense? Yeah, and then Bichette, they've been letting him hit to a point, and then they're getting him right out of there for IKF. Obviously, that made a big difference. IKF 0 for 4 in extras. Did get on one time with a walk. I just don't know what the strategy is today. I mean, Kirk's probably going to catch again today. Thankfully, he got taken out and away because now his legs will be fresh, but expect Kirk back in there. No Heineman ever again. Barger back in the lineup. Yeah, tough matchup for Shohei. We'll see. Yeah, I don't really know. It's just going to be a scrappy, everybody's tired, who wants it more, who plays better, who can play cleaner situation. Maybe Bo goes to DH. Yeah, look, if Springer, but the thing, like, if he can't play today, you can't expect him to play tomorrow. It's not going to magically get better in a day. So they have to evaluate him really truthfully today and then go from that. Okay, Robo is a possibility. Robo for an inning or two. On the Dodger side, this is funny. Barger to the bullpen closer role because he does have a cannon. I don't know. Did Barger pitch in college or anything? There's always some guy on your team that threw the crap out of him. Like when I played with Hunter Renfroe, he's a guy I was like, man, put him on the mound. That'll work. Fluharty's sweeper. I mean, he threw way too many sweepers to Shohei. You can't throw whatever it was, 6 sweepers in a row to Shohei. So if he faces him again, which they probably will have him at some point, you're going to have to see more fastballs. More. I think he just needs to pitch him in more. Go to a sinker or something. That's a weird text. All right. How much of Yamamoto's warming was for a psychological effect? Not saying it wasn't a possibility, but Jays fan felt a little clenching of the cheeks when he saw it. It wasn't. It was authentic. They would never put their guy out there to play catch that point in the game if they weren't really considering using him. But what a weapon to have. What a weapon to have. But actually, it would have been great for the Jays to actually get him in the game and make him throw on his throw day. So maybe he's not as fresh for his next start because he's eyeing a third consecutive complete game the next time he pitches. I wonder how much of the strategy is devised by the manager on the fly and how much is dictated by the front office. Honestly, they dictate a lot of things with preparation, but I think nowadays we've gotten a little bit actually away from the front office trying to pre-plan every single move that could happen in game. I think there's a lot of if this, then we want to do this. If that, we want to do that. But ultimately, I do think the managers are given a lot of free rein now to make the calls. Why put up Yamamoto on 2 days rest and not Snell on 3? It's because you have the off day coming up. Snell's going to have to pitch Game 5 of this series, right? Yeah, he's going to have to pitch Game 5. So if he pitched yesterday, he would have only had 1 day off and then pitch. He probably already threw his bullpen, so that's too much throwing for Snell. Whereas if Yamamoto throws 1 inning yesterday or 2 innings, he gets 2 more days off, Games 4 and 5, plus the off day between. So he still would have had 3 more days off leading into Game 6. So Yamamoto was the choice yesterday. It's just you wouldn't have wanted him to throw more than 1 inning. Still would have been good for the Jays to get him in there and make him do it, of course, but you know, he would have been all right compared to Snell. I think that's what makes sense. All right. Yeah. So Robleski, there's a thing here, unrelated. I left for my team to trade for Robleski, make him a starter. I think that's the trajectory he's on. I don't know a whole lot about this dude. He did get starts. 2 starts this year, 6 starts last year. Expected numbers look great. Velocity is really good for a lefty. 96. Pretty big pitch mix. Very good results on the slider this year. Slider's got a 226 ex-Woba, so that must be his pitch. Anyway, curious to look. Yep, Jays need just 1 of these in LA to get back home. That's true. They are getting Ohtani and Snell, the next 2. But again, it's they have broken into that Dodger bullpen. I know the Dodger bullpen got the job done last night, so it's so funny because we talked a lot about these bullpens and how teams want to stay away from them. Dodgers want to stay away from their bullpen, and yet their bullpen pitches them to victory last night, which is kind of how it goes. Dodger bullpen combined to give up 1 run. It was Trinan. Other than that, zeros from Banda, Robleski, Dreyer, Sasaki, Sheehan, Kershaw, Henriquez, and Klein. So we talked smack about the bullpen, but they shoved. And then same with the Jays bullpen. They ended up allowing 3 runs, but they get zeros out of Varland, Bassett, Hoffman, Fisher, and Lauer. Lauer's 4 2/3, which was really sick. Overall, who had the better numbers in this game? Expected batting average, LA. Hard hit, actually, for the Jays. Favored the Jays, but the Dodgers had the better expected BA. It played out the normal way. I mean, Toronto allowing the 4 home runs in this game. That's kind of the Dodgers style relative to the Jays. Jays only with the 1 home run. Jays had a lot of rallies that they just couldn't put the big number across. Did I try the Korean fried chicken? No. I didn't venture too far outside of my comfort zone last night. Maybe tonight. Maybe tonight. I'll have a little more time. So maybe tonight. That second to last righty for the Dodgers was unreal. 101, 102, 83 break balls. Yeah, that was Enriquez. He pitched awesome last night. What were his number measurables last night? Edgardo Enriquez, 57% four-seamer, 37% slider. He threw 7% sinker as well. He averaged 100.1, which is actually down from his 100.7 season average. It's just ridiculous. Like, this is like basically your last guy in your bullpen, and he's just sitting 101. He was really good. Yeah, we'll watch Enriquez's outs real quick. Comes in, gets Vlad. I'm glad I was in a room. This would have been painful in a seat. Let's roll over on Vlad on a slider. We watched this strikeout of Connor Falefa. This was straight gasoline. I think Enriquez is definitely trending towards a late inning Dodger roll. And he hits Varsho. 101. What was the vibe in the suite? It was locked in for a while, but then I definitely think everybody got a little fatigued, baseball fatigued, right around the 13th or 14th. I mean, people were still locked in, but there was definitely a sentiment, because like there's not really a rooting interest in the suite I'm in, so there was a sentiment of like somebody win the game. I think most people were rooting for a great series, so they were kind of thinking in their head maybe it would have been better for the Jays to win last night, but it's still a great series. That was an all-timer. It was an all-timer. There's Miles Straw. Another fly out. This is what we were talking about at dinner the other night. You're gonna, with some of these Blue Jays hitters, the contact you want actually is in the air. It's like you might hold your breath a little bit, but they probably don't have the juice to take you out. That's the case right here with Straw. There's Ernie Clement. Yeah, but are you really sitting breaking ball off of this dude when he's throwing 101, 102? Probably not. That was a big pick there by Freddie, too. And then his last batter was Jimenez. Strikeout on a slider. Banger down in the dirt. This is really a curveball. Power curveball, but... You got to go up there probably looking heater against him. Let's see what he throws for the season. Edgardo Enriquez. Wow. 100th percentile fastball velo. Hello. Everything red here, even though not qualified. All right. Wow. Interesting. In the regular season, 29% sinker. 28% four-seam. So he is almost 60% fastball, but you're not sure which one you're getting. I love that. And then cutter on top of that, 24, and that's 95. So it's a three-headed fastball monster. Only 19% curveball slider. So that makes sense why they were sitting harder and taking the slider. Now maybe there's something with the way he strikes the ball that they should have been excited for. No, I think he looks like he makes most of his mistakes with fastballs. You see, like this red zone in the middle is a four-seamer. These sinkers at the bottom, there's some mistake there. But the slider heat map looks pretty damn good, right? Right on the corner. So I think it makes sense to hunt fastball off of him overall. Let's see the Wobas. Yeah, the X-Woba actually on the slider is really impressive. 155 X-Woba. So basically guys are saying we can't hit this breaking ball. So we should hunt the pitch we can hit, which is the fastball. I think that's why you do the overall approach. I'm surprised he doesn't pump up the usage of the slider given this these results. I mean, I know it's low sample, but I think as we move forward, we'll see more breaking ball for him. Yeah, K percentage low for his stuff. I think that's because he attacks the zone with 3 fastball shapes, so he's getting contact because they kind of can sit in the speed, but they're getting weak contact for the most part. I bet his exit velocity is pretty good. Let's see. I think it's on the top here. Yeah, average exit velo, above average, 88.2. Yeah, he's just getting off the barrel pretty good. It's crazy when you see a guy with such power fastball stuff, but he doesn't get a ton of strikeouts. This could be the secret, as Daniel puts in. He might need the Mason Miller approach. Breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball, 102. Breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball, 102. From what I saw in a small sample, that's how I'd be coaching it. But yeah, 23 years old, huge upside on this guy. He could be a factor in the Dodgers bullpen as a closer as soon as next year. It could happen really quickly depending on what they want to do with Sasaki or who they sign or don't sign. I wonder if they're in play for Edwin. For Diaz. I don't know. Hard to say. All right, I think we've kind of run out of things to talk about. I think you guys would agree. It's going to be a good game tonight. Bieber, Ohtani. We'll await news on Mr. Springer. We're awaiting news on even Shohei a little bit. He got a cramp, but how's he going to feel? As he starts off this game today. But it should be a good one. Try to get some rest today if you can, folks, because we got potentially another late night on the East Coast. 5:08 start time today. The shadows turned out to not be a factor, so that was done. I need a nap as well, Scott. I think I'm going to go take a scooter ride to get an egg sandwich, come back, take a nap, try to get dressed nice, head over to the stadium. I think that's the plan. But have a good time watching the game tonight. This should be a big one. We'll see if Toronto can swing the series back in their favor, get some momentum back on their side. Who knows? If not, it's going to be tough to beat them 3 in a row. So I think big time managerial pressure, I would say, tonight on Schneider with some of his decisions, how he's going to handle that and everything. Anyway, thanks a lot. That was our Game 3 review and very small Game 4 preview because I don't really think there's a whole lot of stuff. I'm sure there's some fun, fancy stats that we would have got in the packet. Unfortunately, we don't have that. This stream will be same time, same place tomorrow before I fly back home. My flight's after this time frame, so I'll be able to do the stream in the morning and then head to LAX and go home. But enjoy Game 4 tonight, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me on the stream today. You guys are the best. Pretty sure Brett got gas. She was writing nice things to me, so if she didn't, she probably wouldn't have been so nice. But anyway, you guys are the best. Thanks for hanging with me on the stream. Huge turnout today, which was great. Major appreciation. And I will, see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place on Baseball and Coffee. Adios. Thanks so much. All right. See you guys later. Bye-bye.